Hello, my name is Tim Ludwig from South Bend, Indiana. This is my 1977 Dodge B200 factory street van with a 360 automatic transmission. I bought it new and stock in January of 1977 when I was still in high school, and started working on it little by little in my spare time. Did the interior first, added the sapphire windows on the outside, the Odyssey wing, and then I did the interior. The interior that's in it now is actually the third interior. The first one was, I thought it was nice, but it was sort of a standard layout for that day where the bed was in the back, and it just wasn't big enough for me. So I changed the interior again to try to give me some more leg room, and again I thought it was a nice interior, but still not enough leg room, and I enjoyed doing that type of work. So I took that interior out and put the current interior in, which has me laying lengthways in the van, and it also changed up the style, a little different look on the interior. So finished the interior and started working on the exterior. This is actually the fourth set of wheels, if I remember correctly, that I've had on it. Started out with Westerns, and then I had Krager SSTs, and then I had Keystone Classics, and then I found these Starwire 30 spoke wheels, and I thought they fit the van style very well, so bought those, and they've been on there. The van's 44 years old. The wheels have been on there for about 40 years. And then little by little I started doing the exterior work. I have imaginary glass fender flares, spoiler, and running boards. Molded the fender flares in. The running board on the other side I actually had to cut in half because they didn't make a running board that fit for the sliding door, which is now a gull-wing door. Okay, so the van has the stock 360 engine in it. Since it didn't start for 30 years, it only had 40,000 miles on it, but outside of that, the stock 360 is plenty of engine, very powerful, and I just didn't want to change what worked. New dual exhaust, and it's been good to me so far. So hopefully it's got a lot of good miles in it yet. With the pinstripe, obviously again that was popular back in the day. I wanted to highlight some of the lines of the van, the graphics, and then I always put my initials on my vehicles then, on both sides. There's on the driver's side and on the passenger side. I did that on both the vans I had. I did build one other van, an 81 GMC. It was called Touche, that I wish I knew where it was these days, but that also had my initials on both doors. And so the pinstripe was just to kind of highlight the graphics and to personalize the van with my initials. Yeah.
What's the story on the mural?
The mural, at that time, the van actually started out, this is also its third name. It started out as Cosmographic, which I actually at this point wish I would have stayed with because it really fit the van. But when I laid out the paint job, I had everything. I had the wing on and the windows, so I tried to work off of those and make all that stuff work with the paint job. And so I told my painter when he did the mural work to kind of do his thing, and but make it space theme and something cosmic that fit the time. And I picked the colors. Actually, I remember from a shirt that I had, a 70s style shirt back in the day, and I liked the colors on it, and so I kind of worked off of that. I changed a few and added some things, but and then I did the vinyl roof myself. It's holding up pretty well for for again over 40 years. That's one thing that I am going to change.
Okay. All right. So we got that. And then you got the, what is that? Cow wing on the back?
That is called an Odyssey wing.
Odyssey.
I think they've given them a different name now, but I always liked the look of the Odyssey wing. I thought it was a little more sleek, and you could still get the van in a 7-foot garage door with the Odyssey wing on it. So went with that wing. Also have the imaginary glass roll pan on the back. Okay, a couple final little details. I did have the windows etched when I was at one of the nationals. I believe it was the 10th Nationals in Angola, Indiana. There were some guys doing some etching there, so I asked them to do this earth on a chain on the sapphire windows because there is an earth on the chain and the mural in the back, so I tied that together. And then I had him do the windshield, and that was something that I went through their manual that they had, their little album of options, and I thought, again, with the mermaid holding the earth, it kind of tied in with the space theme. So I had him go with that and etched my windows. So on the front of the van, I added the more of a low-profile flow-through visor. Took the cowl off and had it chromed. That is a completely fiberglass hood made by Hooker, and the van came with round headlights from the factory. I took those out, changed it to this tube grill with quad headlights, and added the driving lights underneath the bumper. The bumper itself is factory. The chrome trim around the windshield is also factory for a factory street van, along with the chrome around the hood and the headlights. And the mural on the back door, actually a buddy of mine in high school drew in study hall, and I thought it was really cool, and I asked him if I could have it to paint on my van, and he kind of chuckled and he said yeah. And so this is the second mural on the back door. I had the original mural painted over and changed to this, and so that's also been on there since right around high school. Pinstriping, all the paintwork was done by the same guy, same painter, back in the day, 40 years ago. Okay, then back to this side. Again, my initials on the passenger door as well. You can see where I had to cut the running board in half to move it down, so it allowed for the sliding door. It was taller than the barn doors on the old Dodge, so cut that to fit. And doesn't line up perfect with the back fender like it's supposed to, but it works. I Frenched the antennas. Kind of a funny story. I was young. I was in high school when I started on this van, and I was out in my garage one day and cutting holes in the side of it, and my dad came out and said, "What are you doing to your brand new van?" And I said, "I'm Frenching the antennas." And he just kind of laughed, but they were actually very supportive of this whole project when I was younger. They enjoyed seeing me work on it because I still really enjoy this type of stuff. And so when I started doing those antennas, I had no idea what I was doing. One antenna is for the AM/FM radio, and the other one is for the CB. And then when I did updated the paint job, we changed the side sliding door to the gull-wing door, so it's hinged at the top, flips up with cylinders. It's got an electric latch on the inside. The rear door is also a gull-wing door. I did a little painted the surrounds on the side marker lights the same gold as the pinstriping, and just tried to tie everything together with the sapphire wing or window. The sapphire window was my favorite style window then, and still is. And so I made that work with the theme of the van. You say it started out as Cosmographic. Second name was One Man's Pleasure. I didn't keep that one very long, and then I went to Just a Fantasy from the Aldo Nova song, and that name fits it well too, and everybody knows the van by that name now. The wheels are 15/8 weld star wire 30 spokes with BFG 60 series tires, and the rears are 1510s with BFG 50 series tires. I built the van, like I say, when I was in high school. It was my daily driver. Never meant to be a quote-unquote show van, but meant to be something to get out and enjoy. I used it a lot at when I had the chance to do van events, but then got busy with life, and the van actually went up on blocks for 30 years in a garage and covered. Some life changes, and I almost sold the van about 8 years ago. Got on the internet on one of the vanner sites called vanner.com, and those guys basically told me do not sell that van. They all said how much they'd love to have not only their first vehicle, which this is my first vehicle, but my first van. And so thankfully they saved the van for me, talked me into keeping it. I had a buddy that came and helped me get it running again, another vanner. So little by little I've been getting back on the road. I've done a few events and found that I carry a lot of stuff with me, so I decided, since I don't want to do anything to the van after all these years, I want to leave it like it is. I decided to find myself an old trailer, and found this little trailer that needed some serious work. The roof was rotted out, and anyway, it was an inexpensive trailer, so I bought it, had it painted to match. Was fortunate enough to find some 14/8 star wire 30 spoke wheels that are also 40 years old. Got tires to match, found some fenders that would cover those tires, and so I made it, did the interior on that because I enjoyed doing that stuff, but I just refused to mess with the van. So it's a simple little trailer, just a twin size mattress, a couple cabinets and a cooler, and a couple outlets, and a fan for some ventilation. But it's this is actually the first event that I've done with the van and the trailer, and it's been real handy. My spares are in there, all my cleaning supplies are in there, and it kind of promotes my vanner enthusiasm, because it's over 44 years now since I've had a van, and much longer than that since I became enthused. I remember I have a photo album from 1974 that my mom actually, when her and my dad went to Vegas, she took pictures all over Las Vegas and put them in a photo album for me and dated it, and I still have that photo album exactly like it was when she gave it to me, full of vans. And so I've been an enthusiast for much longer than actually I've had the van. But vanning is it's a great experience. Met a lot of good friends over the years, and it's just good fun. It's the nice thing is it's really a hobby that allows you to do what you want. There isn't really a right or wrong way to do any van. Paint a lot of graphics, you can paint no graphics, you can put flares or no flares. It's just whatever suits your taste and your needs. Vanning allows you to do that, and like I say, I've been doing it a long time, and hoping to see some more young guys start picking up some of these vans that are surfacing and get back into it and join us. We welcome everybody that has the vanning bug like we do. Okay, so that covers the outside and my new little trailer behind that I was going to call the Van In, and I didn't. But anyway, I will show you the inside. Like I say, I like the interior, and I don't want to touch the van. This is exactly how it was when I parked it 30 years ago. A majority of the interior amenities are from back then. Nothing has changed. A little Panasonic TV in there that my grandma actually gave me for the van. So I built the cabinet around that. Have a little gumball machine sitting up on top of the dash, 12-volt fan. Made my own light bars, for lack of better terms, across the top, and so I did this layout. So there's 4-inch foam on the floor here, plus the pillow there, so I could lay lengthways in here, and gave me plenty of room. I closed off the back. The back is not finished. That has my spare tire and my tools and all my gear and equipment for my safety equipment and so on. But even though this interior is probably the most basic, simple interior I've done, I found it to be the most functional, the most useful for me, and because I was sleeping up in the van until I just finished this little trailer if I went to a van event. And but it's again, this is the way it was when I parked it, and I plan to leave it this way. It's got a few little rough edges here and there, but it's gives it character and brings back a lot of good memories. Still has the 8-track player in the back with the Steely Dan 8-track in it that I've been considering changing to an Aldo Nova. I have a hard time taking that one out there because it's been in there all that time. And I had fun. I was really learned a lot doing this. I had no clue what I was doing, but again, my parents were very, very supportive of me doing this, and they were very supportive of it. Actually went with me to my very first show, and that was a treat. I enjoyed having them along, and managed to get first place Dodge at that first show, and was pretty happy with that, and actually still have that award. And so it's been a great experience, and I plan to have this van for many years to come. Okay, so that's the inside and the back. The interior in the front, I did a little different. Again, I wanted to be able to separate the front from the back, so I put an archway in there. There are swivel seats in the van, but they don't really serve a lot of purpose because there's no place to swivel to since I closed the back in. Again, the majority of this stuff has been in the van for 40 plus years, with the exception of the little smiley face in my drink tray, which was given to me by my current little buddy Hunter, who is 6 years old, and he gave me that to carry with me here to the Nationals to keep me company. So
cool.
That's keeping me company. That snack tray I did build myself in shop class in high school. The little bear on the dash, that garter is my high school girlfriend's garter from prom. Has the octagon wood steering wheel, which they're a little harder to come by these days, but they were a popular option back in the day. I keep my lawn chairs behind the seats and a fire extinguisher in the cab, and I have a lot of my dash plaques from all the events I did back in the day. I have a number more, but they wouldn't fit up there, so they're on a separate plaque in a cabinet in the back. Have the original, I shouldn't say original, but the Dodge floor mats that were the mats to have back in the day. One addition I did make was the little rubber mats and the steps, because they were getting pretty wore out, so I actually just did that last week just to give it clean it up a little bit.
Looks good, yeah.
But other than that, just a little pinstripe on the inside, a little pinstripe on the door jambs, and it's again stereo, CB, everything in the van and the interior is all the original stuff from when I built it in high school and just as I got out of high school.
Very cool.
So on the driver's side, the cockpit, I guess you would say, is, like I say, you have the oak octagon steering wheel. I built the overhead console with a CB radio. It has a Digitar thermometer that shows inside and outside temperature, and a Digitar digital clock. I changed the 8-track radio to a cassette radio. Didn't do a great job. That's another area I'm going to address here and clean that up a little bit. But then the rest of the switches are they power everything from up here, including the electric latch on the gull wing door and the interior lights. And CB speaker is underneath that console because you couldn't hear it with the CB mounted into the console. So
that's got to come through. Yeah,
So that's pretty much it. You can see I've had my arm out the window, even though I have air conditioning in the van. Many miles with my arm just out the window, because that's just always the way I enjoyed it. So
yeah.
it did have electric windows in it. Both those motors went bad and they can't be replaced. So I'm working on a fix for that at this point too.